Now, as part of the further steps in analytics, we'll start off with correlation, which comes under bivariate analysis, right? So correlation is not causation, because correlation is just a coincidence that there is a relationship between one variable and the other. Now again, there are two aspects to this. There is a Pearson coefficient correlation and there's a Spearman rank correlation. Right? Now, when would you use when? Pearson correlation coefficient is most often used when you're talking about linear relationship wherein two numerical variables exist, right? So if you're trying to find relationship between two numerical variables, that's where you use Pearson correlation coefficient. And if one is numerical and other is ordinal, or if both the variables are ordinal, right, then we use Spearman rank correlation, right? A strong correlation of +1 indicates that it has a positive strong correlation. A -1 indicates a negative strong correlation, and something close to 0 indicates a no correlation, right? So simple correlation is done in R by the COR function, COR, that's a correlation function, and to compute the covariance you use the COV functionality, right? So if you look at covariance, it's nothing but how does the variance of two different variables relate to each other, that is called as covariance. And when you look at this from a standardized perspective, right, so if you say summation xi minus x bar into y minus y bar divided by standard deviation of xy, that's what is correlation. So it's a standardized form of the same, right? So we'll see how we'll get this. So in R you just need to use COV, so we need to load the data. So I'm just going to use attach function to attach the empty cars data, right? So that's loaded for us, and then I'll use the COR function. So if I say COR and if I say between this, so I'm saying let's use within empty cars. So let's have a look at what are the variables in an empty car. So I'm saying names empty cars, okay, so you have mpg. So if I say COR and mpg, which is miles per gallon, and then I can say something like say displacement, right? So this is the correlation. So it's talking about the correlation between miles per gallon and displacement, right? Now you can also do something like this. So COR empty cars, that's the data, and you are saying use what? So you're saying use is equal to COMPLETE complete dot OBS, that's complete observation, and you're saying method is equal to Pearson. Right, so you're getting the correlations between all of these in a grid form. You can view this in a data frame form also if you want, right? Similarly, you can compute the covariance between empty car variables, and you can say use is equal to complete dot observation, right? So that's also possible. Now what frequency tables and crosstabs, so we'll just try to see how do we do that in R. So you have a table function, an x tabs and a cross table function, all of these. So and you can have your own user defined functions also if you want to specifically look at data. So there is an example data set, right? So what we can do is we can just create that set, say jog, where it says jog, right? And it's a matrix which you have created, and you're saying C, that's the concat function, and inside that you're passing some numbers, say 45, 49, 20, 94, 28, 21, 70, 20, and 9, right? And you're saying that arrange this in 3 columns. So n col is equal to 3, that's the matrix you're creating, and you're saying that arrange them by row is true, right? So that's the data, and you're saying column names of jog, that's jog, as the user defines C as rich and then it is poor, and the last one which is comfortable. That, and the object, it becomes a named vector now, right? Something like that. And row names of JOG, so just changing the row names, adding a feature over here which is C as current, former, and say never, right? And then you just say JOG is nothing but as dot table JOG dot table. Now you can just have a look at JOG. So this is how the data is. Now if you want to generate frequency tabs, so you could use this as dot table function for creating tables like this. Now frequency tables using the table function is one aspect, then tables of proportions using prop dot table is also one option, and marginal frequencies using margin dot table is also one option. Now incidentally you can do all of this manually also very easily. So let's say attach, okay, but I don't see new data as an object right now, right? So let's try that. That's what the content says. It's saying error because there is no object like new data in my console right now. So let me say this as second line, wherein I'm saying new table is nothing but table A comma B. So let me use the previous one. So I'm saying new attach GOG. Okay, so it's for data frame, so it's not working over here. So let's say attach as dot data dot frame. So it might give an error because you have a column name. Okay, now if you say you want to access rich, so I'm just trying to make the jog as a data frame, and in this I'm saying extract JOG, and inside that I'm saying give me a few of these, so say 2:3. Have a look. So I've just got the second and the third element of the first row. So let me just wipe out all of these and get some data. Say I'm saying attach empty cars, right? And have a look. Names empty cars. Those are the variables which you have. I can say new table is table A comma B, where A will be the rows and B will be the columns, right? So let's say new table is nothing but table function, wherein I'm saying empty cars dollar miles per gallon, and empty cars say displacement, right? So we can print new table. Obviously it's going to run like this. You can have something like class of new table, so it says it's a table, right? You can say margin dot table of new table, which you have created just once, and just press enter. Okay, just remove this bracket, right? So you're basically getting the frequency counts over here, marginals. can do that for the second column also. So based on the data, so 71.1, so we're getting, can get prop dot table, in which you can pass new table. Again, if this needs a categorical data, doesn't make sense to do this, but yes, you can mechanically do this way also. And I can say for the first one as well as for the second one. So you can just have a look. Just a cross grid. Supposingly I want to do the same again. If I say new table, I'm just trying to change the data, I can say table, and in this I say empty cars dollar miles per gallon, comma empty cars dollar, and see you're taking cylinder, right? And then you do this again and say margin dot table, new table, to create this. And if you want to do prop dot table, and you're saying new table, and you do this way also, give you the proportions. So for the 4 cylinder, how is the proportion distributed across these miles per gallon? You can do it for 1 like this also. You can do it this way also. So these are talking about the row percentages and the column percentages. You can split data like that. Makes more sense when you're summarizing data and everything is categorical. Now on one side you have numerical and one side you have categorical. Now you can again do a new data where you're saying using table function that I am taking out of empty cars something like cylinder, which is categorical, and again empty cars dollar something like, say, the gear. I'm assuming it to be categorical, and you can do something like this. Again, gear is coming in the way. Let's have a look at summary new table. So it's blocked it into a summary table and it's giving you the chi-square values. Now it doesn't make sense to talk about chi-square right now, so we won't talk about that. Okay, so you can do a lot of statistical things over here, perhaps if you know the statistical layer. So right now we shouldn't be going into this because we haven't touched upon linear regression, proportions, and all those things. Okay, so this was just the technical aspect. Going forward, just wiping this whole thing off and cleaning the data over here. Okay, so let's go ahead and use the frequency table and crosstabs. So you can create new table as table ABC and do an F table or the new table, right? And then you can do a crosstab wherein you can specify with a tilde sign as to what do you want to construct as the column of the crosstab and parse the data, right? So if you say the F table and give the actual data, it will print that table, and then you can do a summary also. So you can say head empty cars, so should show 6 observations, and then you can say a new table when you're saying that use allocation sign, and with function you're saying empty cars comma F table, right? And inside that you're saying cylinder comma gear comma car, and then you say new table. So in a great way, this is how you can represent data. You can also say new table is equal to X tab. So Incidentally, it's doing the same thing but in a different way. And when I say cyl, that is cylinder, and then you can pass. So let's do it for the whole set. So let's say tilde, and then you say cyl plus say gears plus crb, and parse what is the data. So data is empty cards, and then if you do new table, that also should show you data in this form. It's incidentally the same thing but arranged in a different way, right?